have never witnessed the power of 15 feet of head of water, death and property destruction. It is very humbling.
Much of California has a natural tendency for flooding. Millions of people in California live behind levees or near rivers and streams. Dams, bypasses, and thousands of miles of levees are designed to keep floodwaters away from property and lives. While this infrastructure helps reduce the risk of flooding, it is no guarantee against it.
1995, during our flood record, 350 homes that were experiencing flood damage in that particular event.
It doesn't just require a lot of rain at once for a flood to happen. Floods can be caused by the snowpack melting really, really quickly, or from a flash flood, or from simply anything else that might happen to a levee, right? We can't predict everything.
In the urban areas in Northern California, people don't think about flooding. The risk from flooding is much higher than risk posed by, say, a fire, an earthquake.
With climate change, it's still a possibility that we can incur some heavy rainstorms, and we want to communicate that to residents. Even though they have that little false sense of security about the drought, we want to let them know that flooding still can occur.
What happens is we have these intense rainstorms that occur in very short bursts. In a short period of time, we can get an amazing amount of rain, and that rain translates into runoff into our streams and rivers.
The Sacramento River is the largest river in California, and the rivers come up, and sometimes they can overwhelm the levees.
You have the water rising slowly, and it finds its own path of where it wants to go.
Yeah, it is going, and look at the water just raging, and that is heading towards homes.
The most catastrophic and deadly disasters that have happened in Northern California have come from a mode of failure called deep underseepage. And in that type of failure, the water is coming underneath the levee, erodes the foundation of the levee, and the levee blows out.
We're doing everything we can to make sure that the likelihood of a flood is as low as possible. But low as possible is not zero. There's always going to be some significant flood risk virtually everywhere in any community in the Central Valley.
We have levees in certain areas that can break. We have dams that were built for flood protection as well as water supply or recreation.
Everybody should do a little bit of homework before they make a big decision about, purchasing a home.
I think it's important that people take the time to look around them.
When you're looking at an area that has a creek next to it, you should contact the local floodplain management officials and ask what their rating is.
If you live behind a levee, there is the necessity of flood insurance because there is always a risk of flooding.
Almost anywhere in Northern California and Central Valley, you're in a floodplain. You may not be in the highest risk floodplain, but you might be. But anywhere is susceptible to flooding in our region. And so it just makes good common sense to take the appropriate precautions to be prepared.
Your family should have an evacuation plan. There should be an emergency kit of some sort in the household. People should know where to congregate, how to get a hold of each other in times of flooding.
The city and county officials will do everything they can to help protect you, to help warn you in case of a flood, but it really does depend on the help we get from our residents as well. Being prepared, being educated about the threat, and also doing what they can to ensure that their own safety.
I still, in my mind, have this picture of standing on the top of this levee with a young family, mother is in tears, watching her house flood. There was such a painful memory of the catastrophic effects of flooding.